Welcome back to Skitty Automotive. So in today's video we are going to be taking the old intake off and putting the new one on. I'll show you a little bit later what kind of intake we ended up getting, but the plan is to take the distributor out, and then we got to figure out the right size bolts for the new intake to go on. Right now, like we did in the last video, we got the throttle body and all the wiring out. So I think we may not be able to. Well, yeah, I think we just have to be able to take the distributor out and probably unhook those wires, and then I'm just now realizing that that bolt is not all the way in there.
Is what?
With it. Or is that just a random bolt?
That's a random bolt for your spring.
Okay. Well, that's the plan. Take that off, figure out what bolts we need for the new one, and then put the new one on. Alrighty, so I'm going to go ahead and start by taking all of these off, laying them out of the way. And then I'm going to go ahead and take these off, take those out. This vacuum line, I'm going to take it all the way off and set it out. I'm going to set this out. And then once we get these off, I'm going to take the cap off, figure out where it's sitting so we can make sure when it goes back in, it's in the right spot. So I'm going to take this bolt out, get that out, and then work on getting the bolts out of the intake. There's water sitting on top of the intake. Okay. I'm going to have to get a vacuum or something. But yeah, that is the plan, so keep on watching. Seems like something's holding it.
Get it out! What is the problem? I bet they see a problem. That could have ruined your motor. Holy cow, because it fell down in there. Not recently.
Fell down where? In here?
In there. When we had it off.
Dad.
Not me.
What do you mean not me? I'm not the only one that's been working on it.
So why'd you say Dad? That's a problem.
I'm fully aware that's a problem.
You can see the mark right there. It's been there a while.
So does that mean my headers are no good?
No, the heads are good. Oh God. Darn it.
Makes sense why there was a leak there. Have we been missing that by any means?
That's 16. You used that last.
Like you're supposed to know who used it last. Don't start with me. Granted, who was the last person to take this on and off twice? Not
That
me.
wasn't that. That was the throttle body off.
I didn't put the throttle body on. You
Must have-
did.
It must have fell from up here somewhere. But
Oh boy.
I'll be honest with you, that went through the floor to run.
I'm keeping that suit as a souvenir.
That better be your screenshot.
I'm laughing, but like somebody was on our side with this one because it was any smaller of a friggin' thing, or if it was.
Taking a picture.
Okay, so as you can see, we discovered a little problem. Thankfully, it did not hurt the heads, but it definitely could have messed some stuff up. Had it gone and rotated the other way and gone in, we would have, it'd have been a long few months. But it didn't do any damage. We got it out. We're gonna make sure, Dad, that this time
Haley?
there's nothing in there.
Haley? We both will.
I'm not pointing fingers, but I kind of pointed fingers. I'm not the last one that put that out, okay? Dad had to take that.
I wouldn't have had a 16 up there. A 16 millimeter shouldn't have been up there while I was doing an intake. So whoever had that up there.
Oh, okay. Oh well, we figured it out. We fixed it.
How long was it in there?
Here's the thing. That throttle body nor intake had not been unbolted and taken out of the truck since last March. So
the intake isn't off is where it came from. The throttle body was off and it fell down in there and it wedged itself, and we didn't see it until we took the intake off, and we wouldn't have. It went down one of the intake runners and it got stuck in there. Did not do any damage. There's no cracks. There's no nothing. We checked it all out.
But I'm also, now that I'm thinking about it, I'm curious if it did any internal damage to the intake that we aren't aware of.
Yeah.
But we got a new one, so it doesn't matter anyway. But I'm keeping it as a lucky charm, because it is luck, because had it rotated any bit differently than it did, it would have been an issue. Alrighty, so I've been using this scraper to get all of the extra gasket and sealer stuff off. I've got this side done. I'm about to finish this side. I'm not recording only because it is just a long, tedious process that there's no point of y'all even sticking around to see it. So I'll get back to you when I'm done with both sides. Alrighty, so we're gonna end up ending the video right here because we're running out of time and daylight, even though you probably can't tell. But I ended up getting it all cleaned up. Other than we have to go over it to finish cleaning it. We're gonna go ahead and put the old one back on, only because when we went to put the new one on, I'm gonna end up having to take one of the valve covers off to get it down in there.
We're not bolting on, we're just laying it on there.
Yeah, we're not bolting, just laying it in there. But next week, we'll end up taking it back off, cleaning it the rest of the way, and then putting the new one on there. The following week, we should have the carburetor. I think we've decided that we're gonna go with a specific carburetor, but I'm trying to figure out if I should spend more money to get pink. I don't know. I probably will, but
why don't you show them?
What do you mean?
In this video, show them the new intake.
Oh yeah, I didn't even show you guys the new intake. Let me explain the old intake first. So this is the old intake. I don't really know the brand all that well. And then this here is the new intake. It is an air gap intake. I don't know if you can tell, but it's a bit higher than the other ones. But the plan is, well, Dad's plan per se, once we get it in there, which we really won't know until we get the carburetor, we might have to cut out some of this to make room. I think from what I'm seeing and how that was kind of sitting, even though it didn't go down all the way, we're probably going to keep the same air cleaner. Dad's shaking his head, but I feel like that big one will look weird, you know what I mean?
It'll look good. You don't want that little thing up there.
But my thing is I can't paint it pink because it's going to be right up next to the pink. You know what I mean? And it's ugly how it is right now. But anyway, we're going to leave it there. So we will see you next week.